Hey y'all, I made a Sunday dinner on a Monday because I have not been at home every Sunday and I be missing cooking on Sunday because I love cooking. Cooking is my therapy. So I started with some water and some chicken broth. So I decided to cook today, y'all. And I put those together because I like the flavor together. And then I added my meat, which is some ham hocks. Y'all add some meat to them greens because greens without meat is not good. Meat give it flavor. And yes, I'm using bag greens. I do not fool with buying those fresh greens, and I'm not finna cut nothing. I'm not finna wash and pre-wash all that stuff. I'm not finna do it. Anything that easy, that's what I do. So I mixed some mustard greens, some turnip greens together. And then I added some salt. And I added me some onion powder. And be generous with the onion powder, y'all. It's not salt, so put it in there. It tastes good in them greens. Put that onion powder in there, baby. I fill mine up because the flavor is top tier. Okay, then I put some zero salt chicken bouillon. I also added some cubes, but I didn't have it when I made this video. So once I went to the grocery store, I picked some up and I put it in there. Now I do use hot sauce in my greens. Yes, I use hot sauce. If you don't like hot sauce, don't put it in there. But I would tell you, you will not taste it and it will give your greens some flavor. I always cook mine with hot sauce and it's always good and they know they're not hot. Then you have to cover it with a lid because you got to let them greens cook. And then you just keep stirring it because the water is going to get low and low and low. And all that seasoning is going to be at the bottom. So you want to keep the lid on so they can get done. And then you have to cook those. Make sure it's drenched in water because they bag greens, not fresh greens. So you have to make sure they stay in the water. Then I had these two roasts that I got from the grocery store. And I always cut my roast up. But after I clean them, I cut them up in cubes because I don't like to cook the whole roast now. I just prefer to do the cubes. So I pat it dry, not all the water off. I left some on there because I'm going to season them. Now, I have this meat tenderizer, y'all. I love this thing. It's a lifesaver. Go to Walmart and get you one. It don't cost that much. But this is the cube version. And then I cut some onions up and put it in my water. I just use water because I feel like if I'm using that beefy onion along with the chicken, I use beef bouillon cubes, and that will make it real saucy if you use chicken broth. But I put some Badia Complete in there too because it's not salty. I added me some onion powder and some garlic powder because garlic powder is good on your roast as well. I know some people don't like that, but I do. And then I use caramelized onion butter by Kinder's. I'm always going to put some Kinder's on there, okay? That's just what I do. And here's the beef cubes that I put in there. So you don't have to put a lot of salt because those two have a lot of salt. And then I put it in the oven on 295 for like 3 or 4 hours. I cook it slow and low. And then I added my potatoes when they were almost done. But here's the finished look, y'all. I had added me some sweet potatoes and some muffin cornbreads, and voila. Bye, y'all.